Hi, welcome back to my channel, and this is a sound off on the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion part 3. So we pick up from last week with Wendy asking Giselle, did your tummy tuck keep Jamal? And Giselle's like, oh no, I didn't do it for a man. I did it because I had twins. And Wendy's like, exactly. Several of those women sitting up there have had some things done, and we ain't never dissected the reasons as to why they got what they got done. Karen have a new face every season. We ain't never got concerned about her new face and her changes. So Andy reads a question from the viewer asking, Wendy, why did you go off on Robin and not give that energy to Ashley? Because Robin really wasn't involved. She was upset with Robin because Robin and her had already talked about this rumor. She let Robin know, girl, I ain't worried about that. And for Robin to sit up there and act like she didn't know what was going on, she felt like you should have stepped up and said something. So Robin explains, I didn't know what Ashley had said to you. We had already put that conversation to bed. So when you and Ashley went out there and y'all had that conversation, I don't know what Ashley told you. So I just wanted to know for clarification, what are we talking about? So Wendy's not hearing her. Wendy was like, girl, no ma'am, you're not gonna play this with me. She picks up her prop. It's the screenshot of the text exchange about said rumor. And Wendy, that wasn't the receipt that you should have blown up, because it really works in Robin's favor, because she's saying we had already put that rumor to bed when you came in ready to whoop everybody's ass down to Williamsburg. I didn't know what you was talking about, because as far as I knew, we didn't care no more about this rumor. So Giselle is like, she's whack. Now, Giselle, you shouldn't be calling nobody whack. Not you wearing that rhinestone belt. Don't call nobody whack. No. Andy grabs the prop. He reads it for the class. And again, it works in it fits with Robin's narrative that we had already discussed this. So that was back in January. So now we're in March. I didn't know what we was talking about. Wendy really thinks that text message screenshot was a slam dunk. But nah, boo-boo, you missed it. It helped what Robin was saying. It didn't help you none. And she's insisting, and she looks ridiculous. She looks ridiculous. Like, girl, this receipt was a fail. Just put the receipt away. It didn't help you. It didn't help. I really don't think Robin was involved with this whole, let's bring this rumor to the show. It was Giselle and Ashley. Giselle puts all the ingredients in the pot and she hands the spoon to Ashley. That's what they do. That's how they've been working together since season 2. Your smoke should be for Giselle and Ashley. You and Robin, I don't understand. Why are you still mad after everything that you saw? You're still mad at Robin? I can understand when Wendy's coming for Giselle, Robin chiming in. It didn't even matter what Robin said. Wendy just was like, oh, bitch, you trying to jump in for your friend. Robin don't never know what's going on. But Robin is always ready to put on her cape for Giselle. She's always ready to jump in front of the bullets for Giselle. And she caught a bullet for Giselle. Now, I do think in that moment, Wendy was so angry at, like, oh, you guys have been coming for me all weekend, talking about my clothes, calling me no substance, saying I'm loose. That girl, at that moment, it was like, oh, now you want to come for Eddie? Oh, the gloves are off. Everybody can get this. Giselle, I'm coming for you. Robin, you want some of this too? You jumping in it? You gonna get some. So a viewer from Chattanooga clocks Giselle's bullshit and was like, girl, if you were really concerned, if it was a genuine concern, you would have pulled Wendy to the side and like you did with Robin. And Giselle was like, well, that was the plan, to pull her to the side, yada, yada, yada. But no, Giselle, you are lying. If you wanted to talk to Wendy the first night when y'all were at the table, you would have just thrown everything on the table. You would have just said what you wanted to say. But you strategically waited for Ashley to get there the next day so that y'all can jump on her some more and then drop the bomb. But she's like, oh no, I saw how defensive she was getting, so I let Ashley take over. Yeah, because that was the plan the whole time. You wanted Ashley to come in so she can get mad at Ashley. Giselle and Ashley needed a storyline. They were doing what they normally do, and Wendy wasn't here for it. Now, Wendy, you're not special. It was out there. It was going to be addressed on the show. It's the way, I do agree with Wendy. It's the way they went about it. Y'all talked about it while Ashley was still pregnant when y'all went to the little bakery place. And you had on the yellow. Talked about it again at Ashley's house after she had the baby, as if y'all had never talked about it. Then you get to the Williamsburg trip, and then y'all talk about it again in the room. And then y'all get to the lunch, and y'all going at it at Wendy, chipping away at her self-esteem, talking about she's showing off too much skin. Then you finally let Ashley drop the hammer. Y'all weren't concerned. Y'all literally took this embarrassing little rumor and made it y'all storyline. Then you took your braggedy self down to the reasonably shady party and made that a question. Giselle also used this as content for her podcast. So when Wendy, at first I was mad at Wendy, but Wendy, give her whatever. She's using you for a storyline. You use her for a moment. So wrap her up, Wendy. Wrap her up. You do me, I do you. My no go vex. So Mia's like, well, if it's not true, why are you upset? And Wendy is like, girl, sweetie, that's my husband. I'm going to respond how I want to. You can't tell me how to respond. And like, I agree with that. Y'all, Robin, you just got through telling the class that nobody can tell Giselle how she should feel about Jamal dogging her. So y'all can't tell Wendy how to feel when you play with her husband. It's the same thing. And Wendy let y'all know that she gonna fight behind hers. She gonna go to war.
I'm ready to go to war for it. I'm ready to go to war. And that's on Saul. I get active, little mama. He should have told you about me.
And he reads another question from a viewer asking, why does Wendy think she's exempt? They talk about everyone's business. And like I was saying before, Wendy is not special. They were going to talk about this rumor. It was all over Twitter. And Wendy pretty much is like, look, this same blog talked about Giselle's hot box, talked about her paying Jamal $100,000 for a fake storyline, talked about Rob, talked about everybody on this cast with the exception of Karen. Why we ain't talking about all the other rumors? If you were, like, for you not to mention it and to mention mine, that's a problem. So you got Ashley like, well, yeah, it's everything is fair game, and we're going to talk about it if it's relevant to a conversation. Why would we tiptoe around you? And so this is the crap that we be talking about. How was that relevant to a conversation? What was relevant about what the blog said? And if you thought it wasn't true, then what was the point? You never want to talk about what your husband is doing. You always cover it up and lie and say, oh, we're better than ever. We talked about it. We're better than ever. We don't have a conventional marriage. See, season 1, when Karen clocked that you guys might be swingers and be doing threesomes, you were adamant that that was not the kind of marriage that you had. But conveniently, season 5, oh, you guys have an open marriage because you don't want to own to the fact that your husband cheated on you. Ashley, you need to sit there and mind your business and keep it on mute. Wendy continues to say her piece, and Giselle is highly pissed off. She's highly irritated because this was not supposed to land on her. And she was like, well, we were supposed to talk about this. Well, we didn't talk. And she said, oh, yeah, we didn't talk. And she said, well, why are you telling everybody in the interviews that you and I talked about this? Well, we did talk. We talked about everything for 1 minute. I got the phone logs. It's 1 minute. And then Giselle's like, what we talked about, what all can we talk about in 1 minute? And Giselle's just sitting up there lying because she's used to lighting the match, throwing it, and then walking away, and it's gonna be somebody else's problem. But Wendy is not letting up, and I'm not mad at her. Now, Wendy, you're corny as hell talking about, oh, I pulled up the phone log because my husband's an attorney. Boo boo, anybody could do that. Me, a dumbass, could have done that. Anybody could have done that. You could pull up the phone log. It's not a hard thing to do, sweets. We've been doing that. People been doing that. But anyways, Andy's like, this ain't the receipt you thought it was. But I think that was a valid receipt, bitch. We only spoke for a minute. We didn't talk that deep. If you were concerned, we would have had an in-depth conversation. And she was like, you weren't upset. Correct. She wasn't upset because she knew the rumor was bogus. Hello? That's what she's trying to say. We didn't go far in talking. We didn't have a long conversation about the situation because it was bogus. You knew it. I knew it. So what are we talking about here? And Andy is just, he got to protect Giselle. He got to protect her because he's like, well, I don't really think this is a flop. And he's making jokes and everybody is just like, girl, Wendy, this is just not, Wendy, girl, let it go. I do think the phone log was relevant to what Wendy was saying, but it just didn't land like it was supposed to land. I just don't know. Like, I'm on Wendy's side because Wendy, to me, especially of Wendy and Robin, they both wrong. But Wendy and Giselle is all the way 1000% wrong. You did this because you're producer's pet, you're a ghost producer, you're messy as fuck, and Wendy's not letting up off of your neck, and you deserve this. But Wendy, girl, the corniness, I just cannot abide. I do wish Wendy would have handled that better, though. I really do. I really wish she would have just read the girls. But you know what? At the end of the day, we are watching a show. It's manipulated. It's edited. But at the end of the day, these are real people. And they have real emotions. And you're talking about this lady's husband. She has a right to react. The same way y'all have a right to discuss everything under the sun, she also has a right to react. And you don't have to like her reaction. Just like she didn't like y'all bringing it up, y'all didn't like her reaction. It is what it is. Wendy was like, and I think also what Wendy didn't say is Wendy's like, look, my marriage is real. My marriage is real. Y'all married for money. You had a fake relationship and you've had a fake relationship. So y'all can't come and tell me, that's what she really wanted to say. Y'all can't come tell me nothing about me and mine. And like she told Giselle, she will drag her up and down the road. And I'm here for it because Giselle said it was okay for Mia to put hands on Candace. I'm totally okay with Wendy jumping on you and dragging you from here to here because you played with her family. Since that's what we're doing. So Andy asked Robin about her depression, and Robin was explaining how, her seasonal depression is very real for her. And she was in denial about it for a long time, but she's come to terms with it. She's working on it. He asked her about how rude Juan was to her about the depression and about getting the boys up. And we still mad at you, Juan. How you was up, dressed, walking around the house, and you don't want to wake up the boys for school. We still don't understand that, Juan, but okay. He also asked her about the partnerships with, Macy's, TJ Maxx, all them people. And Robin was like, yeah, she's not at the price point that she would really see a profit if she partnered up with them. So she's just going to stick with what she's doing. I guess that works for her. That ain't none of our business, He also asked her about the wedding. And the wedding is like up in the air. It might happen. It may not happen. The people say it already happened. But, So he asked Ashley, Michael don't think that they're getting married. Why does he feel so strongly about it? And it's like, because y'all know why he feels strongly about it. He don't want it to happen. He the other woman. We know that there's the running joke that Michael is in love with Juan. They have this bromance. They love each other, that they may also be in a relationship or they're best buddies and they keep each other's secrets. I truly don't believe that Juan is confiding his deep, dark secrets to Michael. I just don't believe that. What I really believe is some money was exchanged somewhere back in the gap. I think that's why Juan tolerates Michael's weird behavior. Because what is so like I don't see it. Like, why would I want to be friends with somebody like that? Like, I'm really trying to see what about him makes people want to be his friend. It seemed more like an obligation. And then it's like when they had that last scene with Robin and Juan, when they did the little double date, they was catching up. If you guys are buddies, if you guys talk all the time, if y'all hang out, that's your homie. Wouldn't he have already congratulated you on your new baby? Wouldn't he already know that you got a new trainer at the gym? Like, y'all don't talk. Juan and Michael are not friends like that. I think it's just weird. Like, we know y'all not friends like that. Cut it out. So Andy asks about the fight that Juan and Robin had in the finale episode. And Robin is like, yeah, girl, he drove back. He drove back to me. And she was like, I'm always gonna ask him. And it's like, I mean, girl, do what you do, girl. I'm just like tired of Robin being embarrassed on this show behind Juan. So Andy dismisses the ladies for a break, and he was like, everybody go take a restroom break. So during this break, Andy goes to check in with Nicki. No one knows that she's there. He's talking to Nicki, and he was like, is there anybody that you want to really kind of go in on? And of course, they think it's going to be Candace. And she was like, I want to know about Ashley. Why did Ashley take it upon herself to go down there asking about Wendy and her family? I think that I'm going to enjoy Miss Minaj co-hosting this reunion because I've been wondering why no one had any smoke for Ashley and what she did down to the Williamsburg trip. So the husbands come out and Andy is like, hi, everyone. How you doing? How you doing? The same old thing that they always do. And he gets to Eddie and he's like, hey, Eddie, do you get confused for Idris Elba a lot? And Eddie with a straight face was like, all the time. See, Eddie. So we knew Wendy was a little doo-doo-doo, but Eddie, you do not look like Idris Elba, okay? Y'all gonna leave my Sarah Lunian uncle out of y'all shenanigans. You are an attractive man, I'll give you that. But you don't look like Uncle Idris Elba. You don't look like him, okay? Shout out to my Salon people. You don't look like him. Like, I really forgot that Wendy, you said a lot of silly shit this season, but that one I forgot you had said that mess. Girl, stop. So he's like, Chris Bassett, you're repping for your wife? He's like, yeah, like I always do. And he was like, well, I'm happy to see everybody. Schmiegel and Juan, they couldn't make it. And he was like, Schmiegel has a condition and it's called the reunions. And that's a dig because, he ain't been... Honestly, I think Juan has missed way more reunions than Schmiegel. Because I think Juan only was at reunion 2 and 4, I think, right? And Michael ain't been at the last 2. And Mrs. Schmiegel is like, Andy, he just gets sick around the time of reunion. And he's like, yeah, I know. I'm sure. Yeah, I know. And he was like, no, he just gets sick. Last time it was his stomach. And this time I really think it's pneumonia, but he won't go to the doctor. And, just as they're talking about that, Miss Dorothy decides to call Candace. And Candace answers. And Chris is like, we doing this right now? Andy was like, give me that phone. And he was like, hey, what's up, Miss Dorothy? And Miss Dorothy's like, hi. And then she was like, you having a good time? And he was like, it depends what you consider a good time. Because, you look like you was having a good time down to the video shoot for Drive Back. And she said, they was just asking me questions. I didn't do nothing wrong. And he was like, have you apologized to Chris yet? And she's like, well, I haven't, but I'm okay with it. I'll do it. I don't have a problem apologizing. And Chris is like listening. And he was like, can we just hang up? I'm with Chris. I would have hung up too. But and so she was like, oh, so y'all been over there talking about me, huh? Child, Miss Dorothy is loving the attention. She loves it. And it's just like it's not amusing. Like, it's funny, those little things right there. But if she really hurt Chris's feelings, that's not cute. Miss Dorothy, do better. So they roll the package for G and all his horn dog shenanigans. And they show, of course, the situation between him and Ashley. And a viewer asks a question like, Ashley, why was you mad when your husband is Schmeagle? Like, your husband is the worst. I know you're not mad at just at G. Can't be mad at G when your husband is the way that he is. And so Ashley was like, wait, hold up. My husband has never been overtly sexual with anyone in this group. And then Andy was like, I don't recall that. I do recall this man saying he wanted to suck a sausage. That sausage belonging to Juan Dixon. And she was like, well, did Juan have a problem with it? Well, Michael don't even remember saying that. Robin was like, he did. Because he absolutely did. He absolutely did. Your husband, Ashley, is a creep, okay? He been a creep season 1, season 3, season 4, season 5. And the only reason we didn't catch him into nothing this season is because he was barely around. But your husband is disgusting. I know you're not sitting up there getting mad at G. Girl, you tried it. Ashley then segues to like, well, Karen perceives Michael differently than she does G. No, boo-boo, that was not the question. The question was, why were you upset with G when your husband does the same and worse times 100? How did we let her get away with, like, how did we cut to Karen? Because that was not the question. The question wasn't about how Karen received your husband. The question was, why are you mad at Mia's husband when your husband has done worse? But she don't answer that. So y'all let her get away with everything. Y'all let her get away with nonsense. And then Karen, she goes right into it like, well, G took the time to get to know me. All of that is irrelevant because that was not the question that was asked. Giselle, how you gonna chime in to defend Michael Darby and his predatory antics? Talking about he's never flicked his tongue at nobody. He's never said, hey, let's pussy pop. He has done worse. G has kept his hands to himself. Now, I don't like hanging around older people who don't know how to carry themselves, okay? Like the creepy old guy that's trying to hit on everybody. I don't like that. I don't like that. So I understand 1000% if G was too much for y'all because he would have been too much for me. However, he kept his hands to himself. Ashley should not be comparing him to Schmeagle. But see, y'all proving what we be saying, that there's colorism and racism on this show. Because how is it that we sit there after all the things that have happened on this show and defend Michael Darby? See, well, we've been saying it for years, though. You proved our point. If Michael Darby was a black man, he would not get away with all the things that he's been getting away with. We've been saying that for a long time, and y'all just showed it. G didn't even have to do half of what Michael Darby did, and look how y'all acting. And Mia, you thought you had a friend. Because you're protected by the paper bag protected. But your husband is not. Those privileges do not extend to your husband, no matter how much money he got. So G apologizes to Ashley for hurting her feelings. But does Ashley take the opportunity to apologize for the Alzheimer's remark? Do they even mention the Alzheimer's remark? Because y'all thought y'all were slick. Y'all didn't mention the Alzheimer's remark in the after show, and it just seems to have been buried and tucked away. Another example of how y'all protect the lighter skinned women. So they asked Robin about why Juan doesn't show up for her. And Robin is like, look, my man is not an entrepreneur. He doesn't make his own hours or his schedule. He can't just take off when he feels like it. Wendy chimes in and she's just like, my husband isn't an entrepreneur either. But he took off to be here. He took off to be at the couple's trip. He made that sacrifice. And it's just like, Wendy, girl, Wendy, leave Robin alone. Robin was not the one that was coming for you. And stop trying to flex your relationship on everybody else before you be shamed. Just shut up. And so Robin, you about to lose me too. Cause she gonna look over there and say, do you understand for a black man in this? Girl, the moment she said that, I was like, girl, a black man. Okay, Robin. Robin was like, look, this basketball coach life, you ain't gonna understand it, but it is what it is. He can't just take off. And so Wendy's like, well, is it year round? Is it year round? And she was like, yeah, pretty much it's year round. Chris is trying to help Robin. I don't know why, because Wendy's looking stupid. Wendy's just looking dumb. Just let it go, Wendy. He wasn't there. He can't come around. He don't like y'all. And I thought he don't like Karen, but he about to not like you too. Just let it go, Wendy. So Andy asks Chris, what's the status of you being the husbander? And Chris explains again, look, y'all went too far with this. I'm not really managing her career. I'm managing her and her schedule and whatever she got to get done. Candace is getting her MBA. She studies all hours of the night. So during the day, she's not equipped to handle the phone calls and all the necessaries, day-to-day things that go on. I take care of that because she trusts me to do that. Y'all making a bigger deal of it than what it is. Why? Andy's like, Chris, why do you think Dorothy rolled her eyes when you said she's never paid none of your bills? And Chris is like, look, that lady don't know nothing about me. She don't know nothing about my pockets. She don't know nothing about my money. She don't know nothing. Only thing she know is what she read in the blogs. Andy tries it. He's like, Candace, do you think you're like your mom? And Candace is like, yeah, I'm a lot like my mom. There are things about her that I don't like, and there's things about her that I love. Like, at the end of the day, Miss Dorothy, she got her issues and everything, but that's that girl mama. What y'all want her to do? Y'all want her to trade her in for Sheila or Mia's mama? Raise up off that girl's mom. Her mama is her mama, okay? What would the cameras capture if the rest of them brought their mamas around more often? So a viewer asks, Chris, did you try to holler at Mia back in the day? And Chris is like, I don't know where they got that from. And so Andy turns to G and was like, your wife made a tweet saying that, Chris that he tossed her salad. And so Mia's like, I don't think G watches the show, and I don't think but he damn sure is not on social media. And if he is, he don't know what the hell Mia is up to. Because now Mia has to explain that, I told you, but I'll refresh your memory because she didn't tell you. But she was on the Twitter streets. She was telling the Twitter streets that Chris tossed her salad back in the day. That's what she did. You need to get her. G looking like, oh, Mia, you gonna embarrass me on this show. Mia gonna be in trouble when she get home. She forgot she was a whole married woman when she made that tweet. That woke Robin right up. Robin was like, wait, so you just lied like that? Why would you say something like that? And Giselle fake ass is like, oh, so it was just a jab? Oh, okay, it was just a jab. And Mia, y'all so full of shh. And so Mia was like, well, she called me handsome. So then Candace was like, nah, girl, just tell the truth. You spent weeks obsessing over me, tweeting about me. And she said, no, I spent weeks responding to people on Twitter. I thought you had a social media manager. We just caught you in another lie, bitch. Like, girl, you were obsessing over me like a fan. You scrolled through my Instagram looking for pictures of my feet. Now, let's revisit that. Because Candace called it out. She was like, you and your little friend Cookie a couple of weeks ago. When Mia posted, I guess Mia got upset that Candace kept talking about her big feet. She didn't have no smoke for Giselle, though, because Giselle also called her hands and feet large. But her smoke was only for Candace. A few weeks ago, when Mia posted the picture of Candace in the green dress and then a zoom in on her feet, I immediately recognized it because the late blogger that is no more here with us, he posted that already as a joke to make fun of Candace because, he didn't like Candace. He was always posting stuff about her. I saw that last year. I immediately recognized it. So I remember I was like, wow, Mia, you're stealing content from this guy. I thought Mia had saw that he did it and was being a copycat. But what we later found out was one of my Twitter mutuals, Zen Win, she noticed that the screenshot that Mia posted, she didn't crop it. And we saw Cookie, who is Karen and Bird Lady's homegirl, we saw her little Avi in the bottom right hand corner of the screenshot. So it was like, oh, so y'all still doing this to Candace? I remember when Candace had made a post accusing Cookie of canceling her performance of the national anthem at a basketball game. And I was thinking, like, damn, Candace, I don't know if that lady, if she got the, why would that lady do that to you? That's what I was thinking at the time. But mind you, I would see Cookie commenting about other things about the show, and not just Candace, but Giselle under other people's posts. So that's when I was like, ain't that the same lady? And I was like, oh, so she really be doing this stuff right here. So she really is that petty. Because I seen some of the other stuff that she's been posting. So last year when Candace was telling everybody like, yo, I'm not just mad about Bird Lady assaulting me. I'm also mad about all the little minions that she sends after me to continuously pick at me. That's one of the things that she was talking about. But everybody just glossed right over it like Candace was making the shit up. But so yeah, Mia couldn't even read Candace on her own. She had to get somebody else to send her a screenshot of Candace. She was not even smart enough to crop the photo. She dry snitched on the person who was helping her. So that makes Karen, in my eyes, that makes Karen just as guilty, because that's Karen's homegirl. Mia, why y'all linking up against Candace? How corny. So Mia is under fire because she got Candace coming at her and she got Wendy chiming in, and Wendy's like, girl, I just find this funny how you're a married woman and you're concerned about whether or not my husband is looking you in your eye. And we remember at the top of the season when she said that, oh, Eddie couldn't even look her in her eye because he was so attracted to her. And like I said, you don't know why that man couldn't look you in your eye. There's a plethora of reasons as to why he wasn't trying to look at you in your eye. But you just assumed that he was attracted to you. Wendy totally hijacks this moment because she was like, look, I don't know if I've seen Juan's eyes, Chris's eyes. I don't care to see nobody's eyes because I'm Mrs. Osefo. And it's just like, girl, don't nobody care but you that you Mrs. Osefo. We get it, girl. But she's making points. Like, why do you care? And see, this is what I think. Everybody be so quick to say Candace is jealous of Ashley and Mia. Is she? Because Mia is constantly trying to flirt with everybody's husband and calling them babe and boo and sweets and whatever else. And she was wanting to hang out with the guys and left poor G alone on the trip, on the porch, making his fake phone calls and whatnot. They married these old ass men and they wish that Eddie and Chris would give them the time of day. That's what's really going on here, because she's calling Wendy insecure. Why? Wendy, I don't know that Wendy is insecure. I don't know what to call in Wendy, because I like Wendy, but Wendy, sometimes you let me down. But she was like, Wendy, you're insecure. And Wendy was like, I'm insecure, but you over here talking about he tossed your salad. He tossed your salad. He tossed your salad. I'm sorry. That was funny as hell to me. I was here for that, Wendy. Yes, get her. She's sitting there and she's so upset, but her face don't move, so she can't show that she's annoyed. But Wendy is eating her up. Now, Wendy is making points. She's corny as hell, but she's still making points. Why do you care if Eddie looked you in your, like, why do you even have any, like, why do you even care what Eddie did or did not do? Girl, bye. Wendy has her own flaws, yes, but girl, why do you care what her husband was looking at you or not? You go back to your grand husband and you worry about that man. This is like, girl, don't give her no more. Don't give her no more moments. Let it go, let it go. And you know, Andy has to hop in there with his cape. It was like, we're gonna move on. We're just gonna move on. So Andy asked Eddie how the rumors made him feel, like what did he think? And Eddie was like, you know, it was hashed out in a way that showed no concern for me or my children. And so Andy was kind of like nudging Giselle, like, hey, anybody got something to say? And Giselle ain't got nothing to say because Giselle don't want to take accountability. The apology sheriff don't want to apologize. Any other time, she's forcing someone to apologize, but she don't want to apologize to Eddie. Because you know why? She didn't expect it to land on her. See, she's used to getting the mess going and it fall on somebody else's head. Like the classic thing to do would have just been like, you know what? Next time I mind my business, I apologize for bringing this up, but she don't got nothing to give. Like, you the apology sheriff. You are the authority of apologies, and you don't feel like one is warranted in this situation, but you wanted one. You always want an apology. So they wrote Karen's package about Ray, the wedding renewal, the vow renewal, her becoming ambassador in Surrey County, announcing her home essential lines and her candles. And okay, I thought we saw her package already, but all right. It ends with Giselle talking about the DMs that Karen be hopping in. So Andy asks, what DMs? And Giselle's like, oh, I was just joking. I was just joking. I don't think she was joking. She meant that. So Andy asks Karen about her ambassadorship to Surrey County. And she was like, I'm proud to announce that we've brought Wi-Fi to Surrey County. I was clutching my pearls. I was like, Wi-Fi? The people didn't have Wi-Fi? Oh no. I'm glad the people got Wi-Fi now. So a viewer asks, why did Ray nudge Karen to announce her home essential line? And Ray is like, you know, she doesn't market herself the way that she should. And Karen is like, yeah, you know, if it wasn't for Ray, I wouldn't have been in Bloomingdale's and HSN. And Chris was like, oh, you know, that's beautiful. That's nice, you know. But I wonder why when I do the same for my wife, it's a problem. Karen lets it know like she wasn't the one that had nothing to say. She said she told them girls to mind their business. So Andy, you could tell he was bothered that Chris chimed in. Giselle chimes in and was like, well, you know, Ray held Karen down for 25 years. That's the missing component for you. So Chris was like, do y'all think I was living under a bridge before I met Candace? Like, what did y'all think this is? Chris let y'all know he was paying his rent and he was helping Candace pay her rent while they were dating. Y'all heifers need to raise up off of him. Y'all don't know what his money's like. Y'all don't know what he's done for Candace. So fall back. And Giselle, yet again, you sitting there looking stupid. Chris cleared all of y'all and production backed him up. And Andy couldn't do nothing but like, oh, let's get back to Surrey County. So Karen reports that they're working on getting a bed and breakfast in Surrey County. So a viewer asks about the rings and why Juan and Shmigo don't wear their wedding bands. And Robin was like, y'all already know he was out there living that NBA life, okay? He wasn't wearing the ring, so I hawked it. And then Ashley, she's like, you know, Shmigo got, what is it? Deputrans? I've never heard of this, but apparently this is, you know, a situation. And he can't wear his rings. He has to get shots in his fingers and his joints. He can't wear his rings. So Chris gonna chime in and he was like, oh, that's a thing? I hollered. It was hilarious to me. Child, they bring up Michael versus Chris, and we not about to get into that again. You know, it is what it is. Chris is willing to be cool. Smeagol don't want to be cool. Ashley sitting up there acting like her husband haven't been insulting Candace and Chris, and we know that that's not the truth because we've been watching the show. You're not about to play in our face. Anyways, we're gonna skip right on over that. They dismissed the husbands. I don't know if they was there longer than the Scholar or Scholar was there longer than them, but they got rid of them real quick. But I guess we know why, because they got to make space for Nicki's segment. So they go to break and they use this opportunity to sneak Nicki in so that she can hide on set. So they come back and Andy is talking and he's like, you know what? I know this is like not what we normally do, but you know what? I need some tequila. Can somebody bring me some tequila? And of course, Nicki comes with the tequila in hand and she's like, I'm here, bitches. And the girls, they all fan out. Everybody hops out of their seat. They're all excited. So Andy hands over his seat to Nicki and he dips. No, so Nicki wastes no time. And she's like, Ashley, you know, you had your babies and they're cute and I love seeing them, but you didn't have no storyline this season. Is that why you lugged your breast milk over to the Williamsburg to get it popping and be messy with Wendy? And Ashley was like, oh, no, Nicki, no, that's not what happened. And she was like, yeah, you did it. Because you left right after you did it. And Candace, she was finally getting what she deserved. Candace, why would you swoop in there and save her? Don't save her. Child, they cut it off. They cut it off because Candace is like, well, she had just given birth. No, Candace. No, Candace. No. I love you, but no. Let this happen. She was about to experience accountability because that's their favorite word. Why would you chime in and stop that? You out of order, sis. You out of order. I love you, but you out of order. Them hoes don't ever chime in to save you. They see. I love you, Candace, but girl, you was out of order for that, girl. Why would you chime in to save Mrs. Schmiegel? It looks like part 4 is about to be, it's about to be tasty. I can't wait to see it. I am hype. I'm really excited. So that's my sound off. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Share my video too. You know, I'm trying to get my subscribers up. Thanks for watching.